All right. We are. It's good. Dominic Norman, Gridiron, Trey Porter, the one AJ, Joshua, Brian, Maul, JT, Zad, Davidson, Little Wayne, Thomas B, Chase, Birdie, Alfredo, Victor, 44. 23 days later, Simply Deep, how's it going? Norman. I hope y'all tuned in to The Last Dance. Let me send you the link if you haven't got it already. It's on ESPN as we speak, the 1998 Chicago Bulls. We're watching part 1 and 2. Here's the link for you. So if you don't got ESPN right now, your cable might be down. Somebody came over and used their Tetsaiga, that's Inuyasha for you, and cut off your stream. You got an opportunity to tune in right now. There's the link for you. We going live on Hot Mic in just a little bit. Sharif, Shelvon, Cameron, Derek, Tyrone, Torres, Henry, Enrique, Mark, Devon, Mr. CCS, Dorian Robinson, Mario, how's it going? There's the link once again. We're watching The Last Dance, 1998 Chicago Bulls. If y'all don't know the story, here's an opportunity to tune in. ESPN accelerated the release of the documentary because of what's going on in the world. Obviously, with all this quarantine going on, I got a little bit of a Vegeta at the top of my head, but we ain't talking about that right now. There's the Zen Master, Phil Jackson, as they're walking down, memory lane of all the championships they done won. Up until this point, they're at 96 right now. That was a miraculous 72-10 season. It sounds better because it has a ring to it. Warriors fans, how does that feel? But they're going to unfold the story. If you're a basketball historian, you'll really enjoy this documentary. There's the link once more for you guys on YouTube. You're welcome. I'm happy I could share the link with you guys because I'd be remiss if I was just watching it and y'all weren't. If you recall when we were watching WrestleMania at the top of the month, I can't tell you how many people don't have the WWE Network. So I'm happy to provide the link for you so you can watch it along with me. Let me put my volume so it's not that loud for you. Yes, Anthony, Inuyasha, throwback for sure. Tyrone, yes. One of my favorite animes, not in my top 5, but one of my favorite animes. Favorite character, Shishomaru. But what were your thoughts on the Bulls? I've seen a lot of speculation regarding if the 1996 Bulls would beat the 2017 Warriors. I say that they wouldn't, but I think the Warriors would have probably beat a vast majority of teams. I think the only one that could probably rival them is the 2001 Lakers because the Warriors team, they can score from 3 more often than you can score from 2. So, however, I'm not going to deny the paint presence or lack thereof for the Warriors. That definitely would do them no favors. But, yeah. Fro says, what's my favorite anime? That would have to be One Piece, I believe, is number 1 for... No. Death Note is number 1. One Piece 2, Death Note 1, Dragon Ball, the entire series 2, although it's a bit overrated now. But I'd have Death Note, Dragon Ball, One Piece. I have to put Konosuba up there because it's 2 seasons, but I've loved every episode. It's hilarious. Then probably Guilty Crown. I think I've taken something out. I remember Naruto was in my top 5, but I took it out. I plugged in Konosuba, and I'm going to leave Guilty Crown at 5. That's my top 5. I feel like I'm missing some. I'm definitely overlooking some. Attack on Titan has been sensational. I can't put it in my top 5. Oh, we live on Hot Mic. How is it going? Maul Allen, Darian, Sherrod Petaway, Amari, Genesee, King James, 89. Hazard, Jerry, Ian, Kasha, Stacks Montana, Clemson fan. How's it going? Jordan Ariel. Hoodie Zay. How's it going, fam? Oh wow, Clemson fan got the photo of Saitama with the hair. What was he calling himself? It was some with a K, wasn't it? I can't remember what he was calling himself when he was in the tournament pretending to be the other guy. Oh wow, I'm seeing some good submissions for anime, favorite animes here. Oh, it's Philip's birthday. Happy birthday, Philip. Wayne, I'm right there with you. I wish the NBA season would come back. Raccoon King says, why isn't Yu-Gi-Oh up there? Man, Yu-Gi-Oh's been a hell of an anime, but I can't lie to you. It kind of went downhill after the third season. After the Slifer the Sky... No, that was the second one. The third season, or arc, if you will, was when they went to Egypt and they had the 3 dragons, or was it? I can't recall what it was. I remember, no, the second season they were in the city. That's when Kaiba had the new Duelist disc. The third one they were in Egypt. Golly, I can't remember what the cards were, but I was about to say Luffy. Yami or Yugi had this blue dragon. Golly, I can't recall what it was. Gintama, yeah, I was supposed to watch. Hilarious, best funny, I should say the funniest anime ever made. Milano says favorite Dragon Ball character, Vegeta, by far. Here we go. The documentary is actually about to kick into full gear. It only took about 10 minutes to finally get to it, but I guess you have to try to warm up the people. I'm assuming this is Jordan driving up in, what is that, a Corvette? Indeed it is. I don't know cars like that, but there it is. No. It wasn't Obelisk the Tormentor, because that was Kaiba. I'm talking about the, I cannot recall the, was it, you said Eye of Oracalis? Calcos? Can't recall. But guys, if you have not already tuned in, here's the link for you to it. If you're watching on Hot Mic, I'll send over the link to you right now. Let's go and put that in the chat room. You're probably going to have to copy and paste if you're not tuned into The Last Dance right now. Timmy says favorite Pokemon. Mewtwo. Mewtwo's was my shit. Here we go. Put that in there for you. There's the link. Hopefully you're able to click on it. But there's the link there for you. But if you don't have the feed, go over to the, just open up the YouTube chat room. Don't leave Hot Mic. Just open the YouTube chat room. You'll get access to it. No. Slifer was wasn't that the second season? When they were in the city? Am I wildin'? I can't recall. Oh, Hunter's a fan of Machamp. I like that. Eye of you know, that sounds right. It was the eye of something. Yeah, you guys are right. Albert, you're welcome. There's the link for you if you have not already tuned into The Last Dance Part 1. And we are going live again. Well, not really going live. We're staying live for Part 2. I saw this part on a extended clip on ESPN, I think earlier in the week. But when we get to the part that I haven't really seen, I'll probably just give my thoughts. We're going to watch it and share the thoughts on the 1998 Bulls because of all of the Bulls championship, at least the second three-peat, I'd have to say this was probably the toughest of the wins. Just look at Krause's face when Jordan gets on the bus. This man was a snake. The only downside is that he's not alive to explain himself. If I'm not mistaken, he died. Was it maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago? WY Diggy says, wonder if this doc is going to touch on Dennis Rodman's stint in WCW and Jordan's reaction to it. Man, I hope they do, because there's no way you can't not mention it. I'll say that much. Okay. All right. Whoops. All right. Well, it seems like Cross had the little man syndrome, apparently. You make fun of him too many times, now he wants to do you wrong, which is kind of weird. Because when you're working for an organization, you would think when you're now a part of this organization, you're winning championships, you kind of want to keep that together. YG the Beast in the building. How's it going? Ian says Rodman or Pippen. I'm not sure the context of the question, but if it was who's the better player, it was Pippen. But Rodman was like the energizer bunny. In fact, he was like playing a video game where you have the stamina on 100 and it doesn't lower, because this man never got tired and it never made sense. He was high as hell, drunk as hell going into the game, and for some apparent reason, never got fatigued. It was very bizarre. I don't know. I feel like Dennis Rodman was somebody who had the bizarre cheat codes that nobody ever wanted to use. He never went and scored no points, but he'd out-rebound you. He'd get more steals. He'd capture some blocks. He'd set the tone. Very intriguing kind of player. A type of player that everybody loves to have on their team but hate to play against. Chess Duncan in the building. How's it going? Well, that's bizarre. Krause was looking for a new Phil Jackson when you still had Phil Jackson. Talk about screwing over your team, huh? No, Jonathan, I've never watched Blue Exorcist. Juice Man says, in my own opinion, I don't think MJ is the GOAT. I personally think that Bill Russell is the GOAT. That's fair. Bill Russell is probably the only athlete in history who can say they won more than they lost. The only one who can literally say at the end of the season, because you play for championships, and as Herm Edwards would say, you play to win the game. He is one of the few, outside of his teammates, of course, who can say they won more than you lost. My one argument against all the players, as great as they've been, you have to take some things into account. Michael Jordan won 6 championships. Sensational feat. 6 finals MVPs. Nobody has ever come close to that. He played 15 years, though. He had 9 seasons where he left with his motherfucking head back down. Just is what it is. It doesn't take away from somebody's greatness or not, but the argument for Russell, if you win, it doesn't matter who you was playing against at that time. You play against who lines up in front of you. You can't just switch eras and all of a sudden, well, if you put this person in this era, they wouldn't survive. Well, they didn't play in that era, so it is what it is. So that's fair. The Willie the Shinobi says, Draymond is today's Dennis Rodman, in my opinion. I would say a few years. I can't say he was this. He's this generation's Dennis Rodman, because he on the offensive side of the court, Draymond is. He's a very talented individual who's underappreciated by fans because they think he's just this leech because you had KD, Curry, and Thompson. But Draymond was a sensational player when he was still playing at a very high level. Unfortunately, last 2 years, that hasn't really been the case. He's since taken a step back. But when he won the Defensive Player of the Year, he was defending a lot like Rodman, which that's correct. But offensively, he was like, I would have to say, a Grant Hill without the scoring. And honestly, Draymond could get buckets if he committed himself to it. We can't forget the fact, I think it was, Game 7 when they lost in the NBA Finals. He had like 30 or something like that. So he can score the basketball, but it is what it is. Raccoon King says Tom Brady is the GOAT. Well, when we talk quarterbacks, accomplishment-wise, then yes, it is Brady, but the same thing with Brady as well. I mean, you've been to the most Super Bowls, so you've won the most, and that's 6 out of 9. But then you did lose 3, but at the same time, he's played 20 years. He only won 6, so 14 years you've been leaving with your head back down. Young Biggie TV says, hope the family's okay. It's going all right. Things are taking a step in the right direction. Gridiron says, did I know the XFL filed for bankruptcy and the league is now up for sale? Yes, I did. And that's all due to having to pay for, paying back networks, and pretty much you owe. In the case of Vince McMahon, truly, he did nothing wrong. COVID screwed this man over 110%. And it's truly sad to see, because the XFL, where they were at, were in very good standing, man. But when you pay for advertising already ahead of time, and they had this set number of times they're going to go and advertise for you, when you had all these different sort of slots and you were supposed to be on television and all this other stuff, and regardless of the circumstance that happened, these gigantic networks, they want their money, and somebody's got to pay back. So Vinnie Mac is like, I ain't paying that. I'm going to file for bankruptcy. Hence why he was able to get WWE to be an essential business and have to continue to run so he can keep the money coming in. Because the L that he would take this year is ridiculous. That's why there's so many businesses that's still running right now, because they don't want to have to pay back for stuff. Paul says, has the patriarchal seed providing Adonis agreed with my DM lurking? No, still not. I'm going to try it again. Hunter, you're absolutely correct. Milano says that he's not making a lot of money with WWE, which is his biggest money maker, and them not making a lot of money affected the XFL. Yeah, they all played. They all played a role, but then remember, WrestleMania is a gigantic cash cow. Because it was now without fans, that's a huge hit. WWE stock falling. I already bought 41 of their stock, so I'm just waiting till that goes up, and then the money is going to come back in. But it's truly unfortunate what happened, man. It's very sad. Raccoon King, you're correct. You can't win any game. You can't. But those who have won the most will find themselves at the top. However, it's how you win. If you're just a role player who happened to be on teams who did your role effectively, you can't take that away from people. But you just so happen to be a beneficiary of a lot of great teams, we can't all of a sudden put you at the upper echelon of category when it comes to players. We could put you at accomplishments. Best example, Robert Horry. He was one of the greatest role players of all time. When you needed somebody to make a shot, trust on Big Shot Rob. All right? Big Shot Rob, Big Shot Bob, whatever the hell you want to call him. He's going to make the shot for you. When you want to look at NFL, I'm not going to say Charles Haley, because Charles Haley was a force, hence why he's in the Hall of Fame. Somebody like a Ed McCaffrey, although he was kind of like the #1 receiver on those Denver teams. You can say Rod Smith, but he played his very good role there. There's a lot of players who have a lot of rings. But football is kind of different because you got to do your 1/11th. But it's a hell of a conversation. I'd love to do a live stream about that. Figure out who we consider, you know, the GOAT in most of the stuff. Matthew says they're showing FIFA on ESPN. Which ESPN? Because on the main ESPN, you're seeing The Last Dance. Also on ESPN2. So The Last Dance is on ESPN1 and ESPN2. So if you have not already tuned in, go to ESPN and sync me to your television. Gridiron says, apparently the AAF is coming back next year. I'd beg to differ. That'd be shocking. I don't know how they're going to do it. Jordan said, Jonathan Irving says, do I think that Steve Kerr was a clutch player? Yes. He made shots when you needed him to. I mean, hell, you don't retire with the all-time three-point percentage and you're not putting up shots when your team really needs you. Him and Del Curry are two of the most unappreciated, or I should say overlooked, not underrated, but overlooked shooters of their generation, because we have such this large influx of shooters now to where it's become commonplace. We overlook those of the olden days, if you will, who were on a whole other level. If Steve Kerr doesn't make that shot in '97, who's to say? Well, I still think the Bulls would have won the championship, but things could have been different. If Paxton doesn't make the shot in '93, who's to say you don't see 7? Well, you probably would see 7 with Phoenix and Chicago. Oh, D. Whittle, the Shinobi said a great name, Julian Edelman. He's got 3 rings. When you look at his playoff stats, you're like, man, he's got to go to the Hall of Fame. But when you've been to the playoffs every single year and you're the #1 receiver, you're not beating your competition during the regular season, but the playoffs is so much more condensed and you're playing with the greatest quarterback of all time. Obviously, you're going to get the ball. So there are some people whose stuff is inflated. I'm not going to say it's stat padding because I hated that term. I always hated that term. It's not like you just go out there and the defense just, oh, let me move out the way and just let you run for a touchdown. Let me move out the way and just let you lay it up for a basket. I always hated that term. Raccoon King says, who besides Brady is on QB greatest of all time? I always hated the term GOAT because it's supposed to be singular, and now it's become plural. But Brady, Montana, Peyton Manning, you can't have him not there. Johnny Unitas and Otto Graham. I think those 5 stand on a whole different level of quarterback, and then it trickles down from there. However, you can't really use Otto Graham anymore because we're talking modern quarterbacks. For some apparent reason, Unitas has been thrown out of the window. So I would have to say, if we're talking modern from the 70s on, although Unitas played in the 70s, but from the 70s on, Brady, Montana, Manning, Marino, yes, I know he doesn't have rings. Marino, Aaron Rodgers, that would be my 5. Elway's at 6. Rodgers simply because of the talent. Rodgers is crazy. Mahmoud, I'd love to say Terry Bradshaw, but I can't do it. Bradshaw was a beast, but man, he kind of, his first 6 years, huge beneficiary of his team and his defense playing the role. On top of that, look at his Hall of Fame running back, Hall of Fame center, 2 Hall of Fame wide receivers. Your defense, you have 2 Hall of Famers on the line. Well, should be 2 Hall of Famers on the line. LC Greenwood ain't get in. 2 2 Hall of Fame linebackers, 2 Hall of Fame people in the secondary. Donnie Shell, Mel Blount, Jack Ham, Jack Lambert. Those are the 2 linebackers there. Mean Joe Green, greatest defensive tackle of all time. So I can't really say Bradshaw. Juice Man, Breeze is more accomplished than Rodgers, but I can't say he's better than Rodgers. Although everybody got a different opinion, I cannot put Breeze over Rodgers. When we talk about quarterback talent, this is the top 3. Marino. Matter of fact, I can't even do that no more. I think Rodgers is actually better than Marino when healthy. So, Rodgers, Marino, Mahomes is right here about to pass Marino. Give it about 3 years, Mahomes will be past Marino. Those 3, when it comes to pure quarterback talent, on a whole other planet. Whole other planet. Steve Young was ridiculously efficient. However, because of the entire 80 stint, that's 7 years from 83, his 3 years in Tampa, the 4 years in San Francisco behind Montana, we don't have an opportunity to truly put Steve Young up there, regardless of how stupendous that he was. Is that James Worthy? James Worthy's head looks like a peanut, doesn't it? And Patrick Ewing's forehead looks like New Jack's. Can we talk about that for a second? Patrick Ewing looked like a retired wrestler. Like he just been blading his entire life. And that's been there for a long period of time. Basketball fans, tell me if I'm wrong. Does Patrick Ewing's, forehead not look like he been blading? And Jordan hit that shot at North Carolina. This brother always had the clutch gene. Jordan always had the clutch gene. Hashtag truth, you ain't lying, man. That was hilarious. Worthy, like, I'm better than Mike for 2 weeks. So there it is. They used to call this man Mike Jordan, and all of a sudden now you can get the name Michael. That's hilarious. And basketball players all walk like they constipated. It's very slow. Their kneecaps are damn near rubbing together. Like, what's going on, man? I don't understand. I mean, as football players, we walk like we've been stabbed hours before we've been outside. I don't know. It's just athletes just walk different, man. You watch Deion Sanders interviews. Matter of fact, go to Deion Sanders' Instagram and watch his videos. When you see him walk, you're like, yo, why are you walking like that? And he likes to say, oh, man, you got to walk with swag. Nah, Deion, your toes messed up. Who you fooling, man? You got some cockroaches for toes. You can't fool me. I know people who in pain daily. I know how they walk. You one of them. Athletes got weird walks, man. Ian, Joe Namath is somebody who a lot of people consider overrated because they don't go back and watch games. They just look at stats. So, Namath could have been as good as Unitas if he never blew out his knee going into the NFL. In fact, I believe he blew it out in college before his final season. Because Namath was on a whole other level. And this was a generation where passing the football, literally, you can throw interceptions galore, you're not getting pulled out of the game. That's why when people look at somebody like a Brett Favre and say, well, he threw 336 interceptions, he can't be that good. The turnovers don't matter. Brett Favre is somebody who could throw 12 interceptions and win you the game with 3 touchdowns. Literally. Brett will be the reason why you won or the reason why you lost. Namath would be the reason why you won or the reason why you lost. Terry Bradshaw, same thing. He'd be the reason why you won. Well, not really. Because, that defense would kind of play a role. I'm not going to continue to diminish, Terry Bradshaw. But it's like that. Juice Man says, I think that Mahomes has better arm talent than Brett Favre. I agree, yes. Brett Favre had arm talent that was kind of unmatched. The only person... Oh, yeah, Brett Favre's arm was way better. Cunningham had a cannon, but it wasn't like Brett Favre. Vic had a cannon, but it wasn't as accurate as Brett Favre. Brett Favre, thread the needle should be patented by Brett Favre. His passes were, golly, it was magnificent, man. Y'all know to turn this into a football stream, man. Brett Favre, man, he was one of my favorite quarterbacks to ever watch, man. I was so upset that he retired, but then at the same time, like, he gonna come back. When I found out he didn't, I'm like, come on, man. I thought he was gonna be the first quarterback to go into the Hall of Fame and then unretire and go into the league. It was gonna be either him or Kurt Warner, but then that didn't really work out. Kurt was very close. If Kurt was a first ballot Hall of Fame, which thank God he wasn't, but if he was a Hall of Famer by 2014, yeah, if he got inducted as a first ballot Hall of Famer in 2014, well, it would have probably been 15. When Carson Palmer got hurt, I think Kurt Warner would have came back and played for the Cardinals because they were trying to get him to come back. I'll never forget that. Space Ghost says Lamar Jackson has an underrated arm. Yes, and he really worked on his accuracy. He definitely proved me wrong, but it's early to say. But I can definitely say yes, that much. Young Biggie says the best football player ever, Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice. And it's not even close, Jerry Rice. Regardless of who he played with, I would love to say Tom Brady, but Jerry Rice. When you talk about utter dominance, statistically in all aspects of his position, being far and away the best, undisputedly, Jerry Rice. And I don't care about, well, he played with two quarterbacks that were in the Hall of Fame, and he played with an MVP that was Rich Gannon. It doesn't matter. Jerry Rice beat everybody. It don't matter who lined up against him, so I can't take that away from Jerry Rice. Best football player to ever play the game. Mark Gary says, worst football player? Somebody who not in the league. Hell, I could be the worst football player. Juice Man, I'd put Jerry Rice over Jim Brown. I would put Jerry Rice over Jim Brown. Jim Brown will probably be number 2 for me, but I'd put Jerry Rice number 1. Is that Clyde? That is Clyde. But people's hair in the 80s was look at Clyde Drexler's hair, man. Golly. This man's hair is atrocious. They did pick Sam Bowie ahead of Jordan. You know what's funny about the 1984 draft? You know how everybody goes in on Portland for not taking Michael Jordan? You ever notice how they never go in on Houston and say, yo, Houston's stupid for not taking Jordan number 1? You want to know why? Because Hakeem Olajuwon went number 1. I remember Stephen A. Smith had made a point on First Take, and I used to always argue this whenever we would talk about the 84 draft. This is how good Olajuwon was. Because the fact that you don't even question Houston for taking him, but then you go straight to Portland, like, oh, you guys are stupid for passing on MJ. Well, Houston passed on him too. But they got one of the greatest players of all time in the Dream. Natural Born Killer, Dwayne Wade or Allen Iverson. Both of my 2 favorite basketball players of all time. My third being Shaq. I'm taking Dwayne Wade. Because he's a much more complete shooting guard than Allen Iverson was. But Allen Iverson was a point guard. That was later on. Young Biggie TV says Lawrence Taylor. What about Lawrence Taylor? Top 5. Definitely top 5. Golly, did Jordan ever brush his hair? Man, looked like a chia pet out there. I even know they had headphones back then. What was this man listening to? They had Walkmans back then? Christopher Salazar said, who would win in a one-on-one, LeBron or Kobe? LeBron or Kobe? Give me Kobe. Kobe's jump shot's better. And I think he's the more skilled basketball player. LeBron's IQ is off the wall. So if we were talking about give me a team, a Kobe-led team versus a LeBron-led team, I'm taking LeBron. But Kobe one-on-one with LeBron, I'm taking Kobe. Yeah, I take Kobe. Oh, Raccoon King says, why don't I talk about baseball? Because I don't watch baseball. Ian says one-on-one, Jordan or Kobe? Jordan. Kobe is a carbon copy of Jordan. I don't like when people say a poor man's, because if Kobe's a poor man's Jordan, that says a lot about, one, you put Jordan on a high-ass pedestal because they're not that far apart. But I'd take Jordan because Kobe modeled his game after Jordan. There's no way, although you studied me left and right, I'm still taking Jordan because Jordan was on a whole other level. You're absolutely correct. I cannot pronounce your name. Is it Desavian? Is that how it's pronounced? Said 2013 LeBron should have won a unanimous MVP. You're damn right. Whoever voted for Melo needs to be stabbed via bayonet. I'll say that much. Made no sense to me. That should have been LeBron unanimous MVP. And I'm not even a LeBron fan. That was this man got robbed. And on top of that, he should have been Defensive Player of the Year too. That should have looked like the 1988 Michael Jordan season. LeBron would have not only won the MVP, because he did, he would have did it unanimously, been the first to ever do it, should have won the Defensive Player of the Year as well, and Finals MVP and everything else. It would have been one of the greatest regular seasons of all time. Only rivaled by maybe Curry's 2016 season. Shaq's 2000 season was pretty good too. Yeah, it was a pretty good season. Can't overlook that. Oh, we're looking into rookie Michael Jordan here. Caesar says, who's the current GOAT, MJ or LeBron? It's still MJ. Paul, you're absolutely right. Those Bulls jerseys did look generic as hell, man. J. Dave says the best scorer from 2000 to 2020. Well, from 2000 to 2020, if we're talking the best scorer, golly, you cannot count out Kobe, because from 2000 to 2013, Kobe was the best scorer. I can't even really say until 2013, because 2012 till now, well, last year it was KD. Harden's a hell of a scorer too. I'm going to go with Kobe. Kobe, Durant, Harden. Golly, Tracy McGrady was in this time period. And Melo too. Ooh, that's tough. I still got Kobe number one. I'll put Kobe number one, best scorer. God, there's a lot of names. Kobe, Melo, Harden, KD, T-Mac. Brandon Roy, although it was kind of short. He was a hell of a scorer. That man's his scoring package was crazy. Pause. Ooh, Allen Iverson. That's a good one too. That's a good one too. Nah, I wouldn't put Shaq scoring package over those guys. But then matter of fact, no, 2000 till 2020. So Shaq only got a decade there. Better bulk of people's careers that they, man, I'd have to go Kobe. I'd have to go Kobe. SA said this man kind of looked like Thaddeus Young. You're disrespectful, but I've got this a lot. I've got that a lot. Man, MJ was on a different level, man. This man was in the All-Star game every year until he retired the first time. Only years that he missed, I think, was 95. Yeah, when he came back, I think that was the only time MJ wasn't in the All-Star games. Huh? That's craziness, man. He would have made the All-Star game unanimously in 99, and they didn't even have an All-Star game. Guy was a beast, man. I don't know why he had such a propensity to take his tongue out of his mouth, though. That brother got some bunnies, man. This brother could jump. Joshua, you know what? I cannot say the Bulls would have won 8 straight if MJ didn't leave. I used to say yes, but, man, I don't think so. I do not think so. I think they would have got burnt out. I definitely think. I think they would have still had at least 6. I think they would have still had at least 6. Those Rocket teams were good. The Rocket teams were good. But I do think, had MJ never left, by 97, Utah would have been back-to-back champions. I think they would have got burnt out. I definitely think he would have got burnt out. And Jerry Krause's his antics, that would have definitely accelerated things. I don't think they would have won 8 straight. Raccoon King, I'm not acting like Kawhi's not a thing, but when we talk about gifted scorers, I think that's what the context was. I can't put him, there. No, why? I do agree, Diggy. I do agree that the Rockets teams do match up very well with the Bulls. But I think 94, 95, had MJ never left, they would have still won. 96, they wouldn't have won 70 plus games because they wouldn't have been motivated to do so. But I think they would have continued to win. And then once 96 is done, they would start to decline. On top of that, who's to say they even snag a Rodman? So the team would have ended up changing. You know what would actually accelerate things? Let's just say 80. Was this 88 or 89? When was Oakley traded? I think that was 89. If Oakley was never moved, I think the Bulls would have won a championship sooner. I think they would have probably won the 1990 championship. Reggie 96, don't do that. Don't go to Stephen A. Smith and tell him that Kwame Brown is the best. You might as well tell him that Rasho Nesterovic was one of the best players of all time as well. Oh, wow. Agent Gilbert Arenas. That's a great name, too. Golly. Caesar says thoughts on Kevin Garnett's situation with the Celtics and the Timberwolves. Oh, jersey retirement saga. I did not know too much about the they had an issue with the retirement of the jersey. I didn't know this. Oh, wow. Hashtag Truth says that they would have had a 5-year run from 96 to 2000. Nah, man. I think it would have ended at 3. It would have went exactly how it went. Because remember, Jordan says, I'm not playing for anybody other than Phil Jackson. So if he came back for the 1999 season, Rodman's not there anymore. because he went to the Lakers. Pippen got traded to Houston, so they definitely would have lost, and the mystique of Michael Jordan would have been a little different. Angelo, I was shocked when MJ came back too in the Wizards jersey. I knew he had ownership stock, or he was the owner of Washington at the time, but should never happen. But Clemson fan says that he'll never have his jersey retired. KG's never gonna have his jersey retired. I wonder why that is. I could have swore they already retired his jersey as a Celtic. But if I was the Wolves, why the hell would you not retire his jersey? There must be something that happened. There got to still be bad blood, because he went back there. He went back there for his final season and a half. No, Jared, KG can't retire a Celtic. He's already retired. He retired as a member of the Timberwolves. King Sean says, who's the better power forward, Tim Duncan or Dirk? Oh, Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan's the greatest power forward of all time. And it's not even close for me. Willie says, watch Michael Jordan. Cool LeBron James. Oh, I think you meant to say school LeBron James. LeBron's decision on your birthday. Oh, interesting. Travis King says KG don't like the Wolves. Well, I'll be damned. Okay. So they got bad blood? The Wolves and KG got bad blood because of Twitter? Wow. Wow. Well, that's up. Because of Twitter? This man going into the Hall of Fame, you can't retire his jersey because of Twitter? I thought we were adults, man. Somebody tell KG to get his head out of his rectal sphincter and not apologize, because it's probably not his fault. So stand your ground, crazy man. KG is kind of crazy. All right, here we go. We're returning for the probably, yeah, this is going to be the last act of the episode 1. Oh, kicking off the preseason. They're in Paris, of all places. Oh, look at Michael Jordan's children, who never really lived up to the hype of having to follow dad. Although it's not easy to try to follow that. That'd been crazy. That's why the greatest of all time, their children, it's better to not even try to do the same field, because the comparisons are going to eat you alive. It don't matter how good you are. Unless you usurp Pops, you're never going to be able to get there. Like Serena Williams' daughter, she has a daughter, right? Her daughter, if she touches a tennis racket, it's a wrap. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because the press is going to murder that girl. When Bronny makes it to the NBA, because he will make it, it's a wrap. Michael Jordan, baseball or basketball? You pick basketball. Jared, I agree. The franchise's best players, and they do them dirty like that? That's crazy, man. What? Wait, the owner said KG tanked it in. What? They said that about KG? What's wrong with people, son? Why would you say that about KG? I can't, man. I can't. Some people put their foot in their mouth way too much. You'd have thought the foot fetish is crazy out here. You say that about KG? Wow. Oh, Rashawn, about D Wade's kid, yeah, it's not happening. I like Zaire, but unless he goes to college and starts killing folks on the court, it's over. I don't see D Wade's kid making it to the league. D Wade's my favorite player. It's just not happening. Dang, they had the Bulls playing against random people in Paris? That ain't right. Oh, man. And everybody wearing Bulls apparel. Imagine being in your own country, a visiting team come in, and the crowd is packed out to see the visiting team, son. Oh, I'd have been sick if I was on these Paris teams. You look into the crowd, you see your kids cheering for who busting your ass? Les enfants terribles. I'd have been upset. I'd have been tight. Dang. They came overseas, beat the people in Paris, ate a ton of croissant, and went back home. Oh, man. I'd have been tight. Sterile Gamer says Wade overrated or underrated? None. He's none. He's not overrated by any means. He's definitely not underrated by any means. He's rated exactly where he should be as a top 3 shooting guard of all time. Well, I should just say number 3 because Jordan, Kobe, Wade, or you can switch with him and Iverson, but that's entirely up to you. I personally have Wade as number 3. Hey, Jordan was 35 at this, or 34 at this time. Gridiron, you're right. The Panthers did do Cam Newton dirty. We'll talk about that at a later time. Oh, boy, Walter Payton's son. Whew. That was unfortunate. Boy, Phil Jackson... You can't tell me this man wasn't smoking weed before every game. Wait, Steve Kerr was on the Bulls from 93? I thought he came in 95. Oh, we talk about basketball careers, most accomplished. Steve Kerr got 8 rings. Jay Dave says, do I think that Yao Ming would have won a ring if it wasn't for his injuries? No. Those Rockets teams? No. They were very good in the regular season, but I don't think they would have ended up winning a ring. Their best opportunity would have probably been 2000, either 2005 or 2007. That would have been their best bet. If Yao Ming, T-Mac, they're at the peak of health, 2005 or 2007. Because 2006, I don't think they would have been able to beat that Dallas team. But 2005, I don't know if they'd beat the Spurs. Yeah, probably just 2007, man. I think just 2007 was their window, and that was shut. King Sean says Randy Moss's son is the best tight end in the draft, so you think he can live up to the hype? It all depends on what teams he goes to. You go somewhere where a quarterback can't get you the football, he's going to be out of the league within the first 3 years. because people look at you like, ah, yeah, you're underperforming, you're not that great. People overlook how the teams that you go to. If you go to a piss poor team, a piss poor organization that's not willing to maximize your talent, your career will go to trash. In all sports, it's like that. I like Gary Payton's son. Travis, I'm a fan of Gary Payton's son. I think that he'll be able to play very long in the NBA because he's like Patrick Beverley. I don't need to worry about the offensive side of the ball. I will shut you down. He just has to really just get the opportunity. I hope he's staying on top of his game during this quarantine stuff. I like his son. Tim Hardaway's son, he's good as well too. But I think he's on the wrong teams. Get him on the right team. Gerald, Tony Kukoc, underrated. I can't say he was underrated. Sean, yes, Dallas was an absolute beast 2004 to 2007. Phoenix was a juggernaut from 2006 to 2010. They should have been in the finals in 2010 and 2006, really. Man, this man Scotty couldn't even play in a oversized suit. Ooh, can you feel the chills? I would have always loved to have my name announced. Matt says T-Mac was almost traded to the Sixers in '99. It didn't happen because the Raptors got cold feet. Man, that'd have been a hell of a duo with T-Mac and Iverson. But that kind of changes stuff for Philly, because if T-Mac goes to Philly, Philly probably doesn't end up in the finals in 2001 because I don't think they trade for Mutombo in the midst of that season. And if they do trade for Mutombo, T-Mac might be involved in that trade. McKee probably doesn't win the Sixth Man of the Year. So it would have been a beast duo, but I think they would have probably still been in the same boat. That was a great first episode. What are your guys' thoughts on the first episode? Because we've got to go live again for the second. So I'm going. Wait a minute. Should I have to? Let me see if. Give me your thoughts on the first episode. Right in the chat. What'd you think? And we're kicking off the second episode with apparently Scotty trying to get his money because he's underpaid. Never really got that payday. Anthony White, I agree. It's a great way to go into episode 2 because now you're actually getting ready to kick off the season. Well, damn. Boy, they really hated Jerry Krause, man. I wish this guy was around to tell his part of the story. I just feel like he talks like the Penguin. But then again, I can't. I'm gonna remix the way the Penguin talk. Like, you know how they say the gangsters in the 1930s spoke? Like, yeah, I'm saying, yeah, I'm saying. I feel like that's how Jerry Krause talked to his fellow executives. Well, Jordan thinks he's better than me. I'll show him, saying. Phil Jackson thinks he can win without me. Well, I'll show him, saying. Scottie Pippen wants money. We don't need him, saying. I feel like that's how Jerry Krause spoke. Young Biggie TV says, who's my dream starting five? I remember they had asked me this before, and I gave an answer that was blowing people away. But Magic, MJ, Bron, Duncan, only because I love him so much, Shaq. But I probably would put Wilt Chamberlain in his prime. But Shaq, that's my five. Magic, MJ, Bron, Duncan, Shaq. Yes, Angelo, T-Mac almost won a ring with in 2013 with the Spurs, but then lost to Miami. And you know what's crazy? He got inducted into the Hall of Fame what appears to have been in 3 years, or I should say 4, because they don't account for the playoffs. He didn't play the entire season. Remember this. He didn't play in 2013. He only came along in the playoffs. Golly, Scotty ranked second in points, second in rebounds, first in assists, first in steals, sixth in the salary. That's crazy. 122nd in the NBA salary. This brother was one of the 50 best players of all time. He never got his money. Yes, Gridiron. That's where I got the voice from. The Canadian guy from Southpaw. Scotty never got his due. In fact, a lot of people overlook Scotty. Scotty's not underrated at all. He's underappreciated in a sense. Dakari says, is it true that Wilt ran a 4.6? Whatever the hell Wilt said that he ran, I believe it. All of the stories, Wilt was a freak of nature. And if Wilt was able to grow up in these times with modern medicine, with the trainers, with all of this going on, he'd be the greatest basketball player of all time. Might just be the greatest athlete of all time. Because Wilt, at the time that he played, put LeBron and Shaq together. And you make Wilt. It is unfair. This brother was a beast. And it bothers me. It bothers me that people just underlook how great he was because of, well, you know, you played against plumbers and janitors and construction workers. You play against who shows up in front of you. Golly, Scotty's whole family had the same head. They all had the same head. Yes, Gerald, Wilt could never beat Russell because Russell had the better team. Wilt couldn't beat Russell because Russell had the way better team. Head to head, Russell was a beast too. Russell was a beast too. But Wilt, man, I'd say Wilt was the better basketball player. Yes, yes. The Chiefs did try to recruit him. Yes, the Chiefs did try to recruit him. Michael Brown says his top 5 is Steph Curry, Jordan, Bron, Tim Duncan, and Hakeem. Okay, that's solid. That's solid. Damn. Gotti just had struggle growing up. Hoodie Zay says, what's my thoughts on the mass releases in the WWE? I seen it coming. I'd say a percentage, maybe about 20% of the individuals who ended up getting released, they most likely got furloughed and they're going to come back in a little bit. I think Zack Ryder will probably come back, but if he does move on, then I wish him the best in his future endeavors. But I saw this coming. They always let people go. The names that let go, that was kind of intriguing, but it is what it is. Sean says that Jordan was like Tupac and Scotty was like Snoop, just overshadowed by the biggest star. Yes. Absolutely. Caesar says, apparently Celtics retiring KG's number 5, but won't let Minnesota do it because the owner reneged on a deal to give KG ownership when he turned up in 2013. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, see, I knew the Celtics were retiring KG's number, but won't let. Oh, KG is the one who's allowing it to happen. Oh, okay. All right. KG wanted ownership stock, I guess, when he came back. Well, damn, this man just dunked on this guy's soul. Oh, Scotty was disrespectful. It's like, well, no wonder when he dunked on Ewing, he was tripping. Man, he put his scrotum on his forehead, man. Oh, Scotty ain't right. Why would he do that? That man's got a family. I'm disturbed. Can't dunk on people like that in the 80s. Bill Clinton. Travis says that my top 5 is Stockton, Wade, James, Duncan, and Kareem. All right. Stockton, Wade. Wow. That's a weird duo. But I like it. I don't mind it. Not a bad top 5. Gridiron, my thoughts on the Browns' new uniforms. There are no new uniforms. I think it's just the numbers that they decide to stitch in. They call this man Scott. It's Scotty. It's on the screen, but you call them Scott Pippen. People who don't read. Supersonics. Wow, imagine if Scotty stayed in Seattle and Gary Payton still showed up. Sean Kemp came in what year? I can't recall. But that would have been a team, man. Ooh, that would have been a team. Peyton, Pippen, Kemp. That'd have been a good team. But then again, Scotty shows up. You probably don't get Peyton in 90. So, hashtag Truth says Peyton, Jordan, Garnett, Duncan, and Olajuwon. Can you put Garnett at... I mean, Garnett's a power forward. When he came into the league, I think he was a small forward. But I guess, yeah, you could do that as a starting 5. Kemp was drafted in 89, and then Peyton was in 90, right? Kemp came in 89. Okay. Okay. Hoodie Zay says, am I going live for the draft? Man, I don't know too much about the draft. And, you know, I could go live. I got to figure out what day it is. Usually it's on like a Thursday, but I feel like it's accelerated to a different date, so I definitely got to look into that. That Oak? That is Oak. Oh, he slapped him. Caesar says, wait, didn't Patrick Ewing retire as a Sonic? He played there his last year. Did he retire as a Sonic? I can't remember where Ewing finished his career, man. Yeah, man, you're right. That's typical Oakley, man. Oakley was Oakley was a dog, and I'm so upset Oakley ain't stay in Chicago, man. He was a hell of a player in New York, but Krause is a douchebag. How you gonna trade MJ's best friend? Gotti was a beast, man. How could you not pay Scottie Pippen, man? Wow. Yeah, Clyde, I agree. The Supersonics could have been crazy, man. You get Pippen 2 years later, you grab Kemp the next year, you get Peyton. That'd have been a hell of a team. Yeah, Ewing was with Orlando. I recall that. With Orlando. Crazy says, hell, give me the 04-05 Pistons. Starting five was an amazing team. It was a great team. That was a great team. Wait, Crazy says Iverson, Jordan, Rasheed Wallace, LeBron, and Shaq. That is wild. In your dream top five, you got Rasheed in there. I ain't never heard that one before. That's a unique one. Rasheed was a dog, though, but dream top five? Ian, yes, that is, I will say Sam Perkins underrated. Yes, indeed. Gerald says, I wonder if they're going to talk about the Bulls, bad boys. If they talk about Pippen right now, they have to. They have to. Damn. You telling me this brother wasn't even getting paid? And you the top, you part of the 50 greatest players of all time? Nah. They need to fire his agent. 7 years, 18 million, son. Yo, 7 years, 18 million. That's it? What? Oh my God. That's how much money he was making? Nah. I gotta have my agent by gunpoint, son. Are you kidding me? Also, MJ, since he already knew that Scotty didn't have no leverage, he should have just showed up anyway. Michael, yes, it was the 90s, but at the same time, and players didn't really have too much leverage like that anyway. But in Scotty's case, you walked up there with the jacket as one of the 50 greatest players of all time. If that ain't leverage, I don't know what is, bruh. I don't know what is. Gridiron says Shaq, Kawhi, LeBron, Kobe, and Stephen Curry. That's your 5? Oh, no. They too small. They too small. Crazy says, do I think Bo Jackson would have been the greatest running back if he never got hurt? No. He'd have been electric as hell, but no. Golly. L's after L's. Travis Wilson, I made a video about that. Terrible video to my standards now regarding Oakley getting thrown out of the Garden. That should never happen. But Scotty got robbed, man. Jay Dave says Curry, Jordan, KD, Duncan, and Shaq is the top 5. I like that. Well, at least you're starting 5. I like that. Hashtag Truth says Barry Sanders, the greatest halfback ever. I agree. For me, Barry Sanders is my best running back of all time. Rashawn says his top 5, Magic, Kobe, Bird, Tim Duncan, and Kareem. I like that. Larry Bird isn't underrated, but this generation is definitely pushing him in the direction because people do not seem to give Larry the credit that he deserves. They just think this is just a white guy who dominated during his time and he would not be able to hang today, and I beg to differ because Larry Bird was on a whole other level. If there was anybody, I can do some sort of jutsu to put them in their day and put them in this league, it'd be Larry. You could keep Michael. You could keep Hakeem. You could keep, well, probably not keep Will. Maybe Will. Keep Kareem. Keep all of them. Larry Bird, I wish I could put him in this generation. Just so people could understand how good Bird was. If his back never got messed up, man, when we talk about greatest players of all time, if Larry not in your top 5, I think you need to reevaluate your list, man. I get hurt when people don't got Larry in their list. And even if he's not in your top 5, I'll say all right, because there's a lot of players. Some people you can mix and match, you can move some people around. So all right. But top 10, if Larry not on your list, I won't fight, man. I won't fight. I'm going to test to see if you can swim in a river, man. Because it's something I feel disrespected when they make it seem like this brother can't play. Dr. J could play in this era too. You're right, Gerald. Dr. J could play in this era as well. Anthony White says, thoughts on the 2011 Mavericks championship team? I love it. I absolutely love it. They beat my Miami Heat, but that was a hell of an effort from that team, man. You took down and swept the Lakers at that. Hell of an effort from Dallas to get to where they were going, man. Sensational team. When we talk about greatest playoff runs, you got to talk about the 2011 Dallas Mavericks. He's back from commercial now. Yes. W.Y. Diggy, you're correct. Yeah, Larry did walk into the locker room for the three-point competition in '87 and say, who's coming in second? I recall that. Vintage Eagle 88 says Jerry West can play in this. Jerry West could. Yeah, I think Jerry West definitely can. And on top of that, now that the 3 is implemented, I think that increases to his game as well. A whole lot of stress on MJ here. Oh, look how intense the eyes of Jordan is, man. This man looking through his soul. Oh, that's a bad brother. That's a bad brother. You don't see nobody challenging him. Although they ain't showing it. So, you know, they painting the narrative right now, but that's a leader right there, because you gotta be assertive. You got to try to rally the troops. Brandon says, what do I want to see in next week's episode about the Bulls and the Bad Boys? Well, if they definitely reflect on it, I really want to see the oh, Brandon, yes, Pistol Pete can play in this in this era for sure. I would love to see them talk with true clarity about how the Pistons made them better. That's what I want to make sure they talk about. Because when you finally climb that mountain, you must give credit where credit is due. Golly. 38 shots. Caesar, favorite DBZ character? That's Vegeta. Hashtag Truth says that's why MJ is 6-0 and LeBron is 3-6. Well, when it comes to leadership, not necessarily. A little bit of different factors. 07, Bron was outclassed. 2011, all LeBron's fault. I can't really say all LeBron's fault, but damn it, I will. He was the best player in the world at that time. I blame him, goddamn it, because I was a Heat fan, and I told everybody, do not jump on the bandwagon. I didn't even want LeBron to come to Miami. I would have rather it been, you know, a Bosch was coming along. I'm like, great, him and Wade can do wonders. Maybe make a move to get somebody else to show up. But then when LeBron came, I'm like, oh boy, here come the Bron sexuals. And then he laid an egg in game 4, and I'll never forgive him for it. 8 points, you got to be kidding me. I want to fucking fight him. But did I unplug myself? No, I didn't. But yeah, I get upset about thinking about it. But 2011, I put that on Bron. Should have won that one. 2014, Wade and Bosch were not healthy. So you know what you're gonna do. Bron should have been able to galvanize the team around him, but the Spurs weren't firing on all cylinders. 2015, Kyrie, Love both hurt. LeBron played all world, pushed it to 6. There was only so much more he can do. I can't blame for that. 16, they win. 17, what you gonna do? KD was playing sensational. What you gonna do? LeBron could have played better defense on the dagger, I guess, but what you gonna do? They were in those games. In 2018, we don't even gotta worry about that. But I'll say 11, and I'll say 11. And 17, you know, 17, the Cavs could have had a chance. So I'll say 11 and 17. Those 2 years, I'll put that on Bron. Hey, what's going on, Candace? Welcome. Watching the documentary on the 1998 Bulls. Tune in. It's on ESPN right now. Tahil says, what's my favorite Naruto character? Shikamaru. Oh, boy, they talk about old Jordan's father. Yes, AD Harris, you're correct. 2017 and 18, LBJ did get KD'd. Oh. Oh, Larry is wildin'. Brother said, if you beat me back then, we got to fight. Like, damn, son. Imagine having game point and Larry Jordan is the person you playing against. Imagine you hit the game-winning shot. You got to head off run. Like, when the ball in the air, just start running. I don't even think Larry would turn around and get the rebound. He just staring at you. He going to make sure there's somebody who there. It's like you just got served. Not the movie, but somebody giving you like settlement papers. That's how Larry Jordan played. Oh, you got game point? Say less. Shoot it, I dare you. Once the ball go in the air, he don't even care about the rebound. But like, yo, Mike, did it go in? Yeah, it went in. All right, bet, say less. And then you got to shake hands, man. That's crazy. This brother said, if you beat me back there, we got to fight. I don't want to play ball with people like Larry Jordan. Listen, let me tell you something. If you play basketball, pick up basketball like Larry Jordan, don't call me to play pickup with you. Because if you're a sore loser like that, that's not even a sore loser, man. That's an abuser loser. That brother tripping. Golly, this man want to fight people? Let's see. Found it online. Okay. Wait, Danica, Nick Folk signed with the Patriots? Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. I'm gonna keep calm. Keep calm. Keep calm. Let's think happy thoughts. Let's take a look at Michael Jordan with waves on. I'm not gonna lose my mind. I'm not gonna let my eyes twitch. Nick Folk signed with the Patriots. Cool. I'm fine. Oh, boy, look at that young Michael Jordan over there. Really enjoying life as a child. Yeah, Mitch, I agree. I thought it would be much more interesting. I feel like they it's like a tug sort of thing. Because all of this could have just been chronologically put out episode by episode, and then you finally get to the season at like episode 6. But it seems like they're going to give you a small piece of the season and then give you the backstory. King Sean says, who's the greatest player ever in the sports world? Michael Jordan? I can't even say Tom Brady. I think it's Michael Jordan and then LeBron. Ooh, matter of fact, Jordan, Ali transcended the state. He was the whole world. Jordan, Ali, LeBron. I think I would have to say, I think I'd have to go with Jordan. Ooh, Tiger Woods is a good one too. Clemson fan, great. I just saw you put Tiger Woods. Pele, we can't forget Pele, Ronaldo, Messi. But I think, boy, greatest ever? I think ever I would have to, boy. You can't even forget Maradona, really, but it's probably that's tough. Greatest athlete ever. I think I'd have to go Jordan, man. I think I'd have to go Jordan. Crazy. Serena Williams is a great name to throw out there. I'd have to say the greatest women's athlete of all time, bar none. When we talk about greatest athletes ever, she's definitely in the top 5. I can't put her number 1 though. Golly, that's tough. Greatest athlete of all time. I think I'm gonna go Jordan. I think I'll go Jordan. I really want to say Pele, but I think I'm gonna go Jordan. I can't say Phelps. I cannot say Phelps because with Phelps had a window, and at this point it no longer transcends because people like Jordan, Ali, even after they were done, they were still at the high. Michael Phelps, once he was done and retired, it was no longer like, it was about 2 years after, and then now it's just, it's not the same. Well, Phelps, greatest Olympian of all time. I'll tell you that much. I'll say that without a breath, a hesitation. Caesar says Bo Jackson or Deion Sanders. Give me Deion because Bo got hurt. Deion didn't. But even if Bo didn't get hurt, I still would take Deion. You know what's funny? Although we got robbed of Bo Jackson's full career, because of Bo Jackson, we got robbed of an extended prime of Marcus Allen. A lot of people don't talk about that. Oh, look, Jerry's talking, but he's not seeking like the Canadian president in South Park. He's not saying, see, yeah, Michael Jordan broke his foot. He wants to come back a little bit faster. See, well, I'm not going to let him do it. See, I can't wait until we sign somebody like Scottie Pippen. We're going to underpay him. We're only going to give him $18 million for 7 years. See, I don't care if he's one of the 50 greatest players. See, he's not going to get any money from me. See. Jim or Joe Brown? Jim? Well, that's a competitor. This man had a broken foot and says, I don't care about the odds. I want to come back. Mitch, they definitely did overhype the documentary, but I kind of understand why, because it is Michael Jordan. It's the first 2 episodes, so it's going to take some time to really hit. Hey, Louis the King, what's going on? Caesar says, would I consider Deion Sanders one of the top 5 athletes ever? Yes. But the only thing is, when I'm thinking like top athletes, I'm also taking into account just impact outside of just the sport itself. If we talk about just the sport itself, I think top 5 athletes ever: MJ, Pele, Serena Williams, boy, Tom Brady. Oh, I'm about to leave somebody off this list. Oh boy, I'm about to leave Phelps off the list. Damn. And then I gotta put Deion. Ooh, I left Phelps off the list. I don't feel comfortable with this. I didn't even put no boxes in there. I can't have this list without Ali. Ooh, that's tough. Ooh, top 5. This is tough. Yeah, I ain't gonna do that. My brain's starting to hurt. I ain't gonna lie. My head's starting to hurt because I know I'm gonna leave somebody off the list. That's controversial. Oh, that's tough. Golly, that's tough. And you can't keep off Usain Bolt either. Oh yeah, you can't do it. You can't do it. There's no top 5. People who just dominated their sport. MJ, Ali. God damn it, Don King robbed us of a Mike Tyson decade. Gotta have Bill Russell. Yeah, ooh, that's tough. That's tough. That's tough. Can't do it. I'd have to sit down and really write it out. Off the top of my head, I know I'm going to be forgetting people. I'd have to sit down and write that one out. We're going to come back to that. Oh, my. Look how slim Jordan looked in 86. Wow. Wow. They, you gotta be kidding me. Took this man out. That's crazy. Took this man out to not go to the playoffs so they could get a better draft pick? I'd fight, man. I'd fight. This is real life. I know people tank. That's wild. That's one of the things that I also dislike about fans, too. Because fans who are like, hey, man, we should lose so we have a better chance to go and draft, which I understand, but then look at the player's perspective. You literally go out there to play. If the second that you say, oh, we're going to lose so next year we could be better, you've mentally given up on the other people who lace up the sneaks or lace up the boots or lace up the cleats or tie up that racket or go out there and, you know, work their fingers to go and bowl. Your teammates, you quit on them. Your sole purpose in playing any sport is to win. Somebody said the best coach. Okay, King Sean says, what about the greatest coach ever in sports? I'm seeing Belichick. I'm seeing Saban. The 60 Red Auerbach in the 60s with the Celtics. Greatest coach ever. You cannot deny Phil Jackson. 11 championships as a coach, 13 overall, but we talking about as a coach. Belichick with his 20 years of dominance with the Patriots. You can't overlook that. Chuck Noll, Don Shula, although they're not as accomplished as Belichick, so that kind of, we'd have to look at the greatest of all times in places. Bear Bryant, but then Saban, what he's done in that small period of time. So I think I would kind of put Saban over Bryant. Who was the manager for the Yankees during their run of just ridiculous amount of championships? In basketball, I think greatest. Well, then again, there's Jackson, and then there's also Pop. You can't even overlook Popovich. No, Joe Torre was wasn't it the late '90s? That late '90s run. Oh boy, Coach K. That's a hell of a suggestion too. Greatest coach all time in all sports. You know what? I think. God, I can't even really use. I really want to say Pop, because in my opinion, I'd take Pop over over Phil Jackson. Oh, it's Joe Torre. Okay. John Wood. Okay. Oh, John Wooten. Okay. Um, the old UCLA coach. Um, Boy, greatest coach of all time. I think I'll give it to Belichick, man. Because the amount of shifting and football being the ultimate team sport, I think I'll give it to Belichick, man. Because even he looks for loopholes galore. Although they do have cheating on their record. I think I'll give it to Belichick. Greg Pop is the greatest basketball coach of all time. You could take your rings with Phil Jackson. I'll take Greg Popovich. But boy, I think I'll go Belichick. Damn. Oh, Pat Riley, that's a good suggestion too. I think I'll go. Damn. They were 30 and 52 and went to the playoffs? Oh, there's that man, Larry Bird. Ah, this is when he scored the 60s, the 63. Ooh, Chuck Daly, Saban, 6-10, yeah. Well, 5-10. He had the other championship was what, 2003 with LSU. Reggie said Bill O'Brien. That's the end of that conversation. I remember watching this game, and if you guys have, you know, NBA TV and they put on the classic games, if you have an opportunity to catch it, I think it's on YouTube too. I think the full game is on YouTube. Oh, you could have played better defense there, 34. Damn, Mikhail. Damn. Oh, he scored 49 in this. Yeah, I think he went off this whole series. Like, he averaged like 45, 46 in the series. Well, you went to play golf with your opponent? In the 80s, this was a thing? What? I didn't know this was a thing. People were buddy-buddy back then? Damn. I had no clue. I thought if you get caught with your opponent, that's like grounds of treason. Ah, damn. Danny must have beat him in golf. Oh, boy. I'll be damned. Hey, Jay, I mean, you're right. It's not the WWF. It's not like you could, you know, you mess around and get worked. It looks like I got worked, brother. Golly. It was out here playing golf with opponents. Like, remember when Magic and Bird actually became friends and everybody wanted them to hate each other? That was something that ain't really catch people. Like, I didn't see this one coming. I didn't know they went to go play golf together. And it's just a golf game, but that's craziness to me. Golly. Look at the space on the jumper there. They didn't give him space. Jordan wasn't even this devastating crossover kind of guy, so why would they give him space? Golly. Oh, I think after this game is when he calls him like Jesus in sneakers. Wait, they called a foul on that? God, that's how you know you kicking somebody's ass, man. When they got to come over and come pick you up. Travis Wilson says, did I watch The Dark Side of the Ring on Montreal Screwjob? I actually have it open on my computer right now. Like, there's the tab. I'm looking at it right now. I haven't watched it. I actually haven't seen an episode since New Jack. I've had it here, but I just have not been able to get the time to go and watch it. So during this week, I think I'm going to try to see if I can get a couple of the reactions to the Dark Side of the Ring. I have the Super Bowl commentaries. I have Super Bowl 48. But YouTube, they blocked that one before I could upload it. 49, I've tried 3 different occasions. It's still not up. If you do want to watch 49, I think it's still on Facebook, and it's on my Instagram, so you can go and watch it. I've tried to see if I could, tweak it. It appears the NFL is kind of just scrapping the entire idea, because I've been trying to see if I can, do it, and it's just not happening. Why? I wish I could tell you, but... And that's kind of the dilemma that I'm in with trying to record the commentary for the classic games as well. Because if I do get the game, I do the commentary and I try to upload it and it gets blocked before I could upload it. Like, what was the point? So it's kind of tough. I wanted to do the series, but it appears that YouTube's kind of hindering that from happening. This guy was a beast on the court, man. Michael was something different. Yeah, I agree. I'm bad. Best perfect choice of the song, man. Yeah, Phil. Yeah, Jordan still had moves on messed up legs, man. Jordan still had moves. Cody Johnson says, I'm gonna watch the Jeff Hardy documentary when he started doing drugs. Is that on the network or is that Dark Side of the Ring? Crazy says, do you believe the conspiracy that MJ's first retirement was a front for suspension for gambling? No, I don't. I don't believe it because his father was murdered. Although there are people who say, well, his dad got killed because he owed money and all this other stuff. The weight of having the one man who you truly wanted to impress your entire life get killed like that, that puts you in a very dark place. So I understand, because I put myself in Jordan's shoes. But this is the perfect scapegoat to go ahead and retire anyway. But I honestly think that he was ran down completely, drained from everything. Emotions were at an all-time high. I think that's why he ended up retiring. But I could be wrong. Only Michael truly knows the truth. So. Yeah, Sherrod, you're right, man. You're a bad man when you losing and you still getting played a game. You ain't wrong. Josh, just now tuning in. What's going on? 63, 5, and 6. That was his ending stat line. Impressive. I knew the points. I did not know the other two. Cody, it's on the WWE Network. Okay, so I'll see if I could go and tune in. Yeah, Larry Bird. Tate Boy says that Larry Bird said that it wasn't MJ, it was God disguised as MJ. Indeed it was, because that brother was a bad man, son. MJ was a bad man. People just look back now because you did not see him play. We don't quite understand how good certain people were. You have to be there in the moment. Watching the highlights does not do it justice. You have to watch the games and truly put yourself in that time period to really understand. That's one thing that when you watch games, like when I watched Super Bowl 13, when Dallas and Pittsburgh played at the time, Pittsburgh had won 2 consecutive Super Bowls. Oakland won, and then Dallas won in 77. So Dallas is defending their championship. Pittsburgh's trying to regain their championship back. The winner becomes the first to win 3 rings. At that time, the most talented Super Bowl of all time. And in my opinion, probably the best. But when you watch it now and you go back and look, you'll be like, they're not moving as fast. They're not hitting as hard. Ooh, it seems kind of overrated. Put yourself in the mindset of watching this in the 70s. And when you're able to mentally put yourself there, you'll enjoy the game completely different. So when you're watching games like the Bulls and Jordan, or you're watching Maradona in Argentina, or you're watching all of these different things, just try to put yourself mentally in that time, and it changes your complete perspective. Oh, yes, Tate boy, I still do blame Neil O'Donnell. In fact, if I see Neil O'Donnell in the street, I'm going to throw a football at his head, and I'm going to scream, Larry Brown! Never forgive that man for that. Gotta be kidding me. Threw it straight to him. You're in the Super Bowl, lad. This is the Steelers and Cowboys. What are you doing? Yes, Jalen. Yes, absolutely. Like watching LeBron's Game 1 in 2018. Probably the greatest single finals performance I've ever seen. Because that was the epitome of a man who could not be stopped. And J.R. Smith ruined it. You see how we talk about Allen Iverson's Game 1 of 2001? That's how we should be talking about LeBron's Game 1 in 2018. But J.R. Smith. But LeBron passed it to George. You know, George Hill. He should have just went for the shot. It was a better basketball play. George Hill should have knocked down both free throws. You can trust him to make free throws before. What the hell? The Willie, the Shinobi says most underrated running back ever. There's the Oakland trade. There's the Oakley trade. Underrated running back. Underrated running back. Probably Marcus. Well, I can't really say underrated if you're in the Hall of Fame. Roger Craig. There we go. Somebody who's not in the Hall of Fame who's ridiculously underrated. Roger Craig. Roger Craig, then Fred Taylor. Okay. Oh, Michael Brown, Sean Alexander. Great name. Great name. Oh, we're back to present time. Well, not really present time, but they're going back to November. All right. Damn, with 5 minutes left. Oh, Scotty was vocal. Okay. Oh, Jerry is tripping. Mitch says, am I going to do commentary on the draft this week? I'll probably go live. If there's anything I'll do, I'll go live. A review of the draft, it's not happening. But I probably would go live. If there's anything that I do, it's going live. Oh, Jerry is tripping. That's crazy. Not only were you were entertaining the trade offers, you were public with it too. But then you know you're underpaying this guy, and you still gonna walk. Like, in a sense, Jerry a G. He a G, because he went to your face. He said this in public and still would walk into your face. And so he a G for that. I'll say that much. Douchebag, but he a G, because he walked with it on his sleeve. However, that's not how you do business. I ain't saying do it in the dog, but if you're going to acknowledge just one of the top 5 basketball players on the planet and you trying to move them, then move them. Don't just tip the line, and you're going to continue to underpay him, that's where you a douche. Philly Jackson saying somebody a superstar but trying to trade my guy. I hate this. I feel the same way. How you gonna butter me up just to throw me on the fire? Not even in the pan. You're not even letting me sizzle. You throw me on the, oh yeah, we took this slice of butter. Let's just drop him on the fire right here. Dude, if I was Scotty, I'd fight him, bro. I understand MJ's point, but at the same time, I understand. Oh boy. Damn, I was hoping we'd have more. You just gonna leave on that? Sheesh. Well, that's a cliffhanger. I guess that's how they get you to come back for the next one. But what are your thoughts on, if you Scotty, what would you do? If you are Scottie Pippen at this particular time, drafted in '87, you sign a 7-year deal for only $18 million. And I say only $18 million because Scotty is one of the 50 greatest players of all time. And at the time, top 5 player in the league. You're Scottie Pippen going into title defense #2 back-to-back, 5th time now, chasing 6 rings. Jerry openly is looking to shop you. If you are Scottie Pippen, what are you doing? Gerald says go to the Rockets. That's ultimately what happened. But if you Scotty, what you doing? I'll say this much. If I'm Scotty, I kind of don't want to bring you, I don't want to give you the satisfaction of being able to win on my back and then shop me. If I'm Scotty, I ain't playing the season. The only thing that's the downside is the people that I go to war with, the guys who lace up their sneakers with me, I'd feel like I'm betraying them because the least that I can do is just close this all out, just end the chapter. But I don't want to give the GM the satisfaction. So that's where my issue would be. But I'd sit out the season, man. I got 5 rings. I don't need a 6th. Jalen says, be selfish. Gridiron says, I'd fight him. Kasha says, leave the Bulls. Jay says, peace out. I'm going to go get the bag. Ian says, I'm leaving. W.Y. Diggy says, getting out the contract. Good Lord. Jordan was getting $33 million. Ron Harper was 4.6. Tony Kukoc 4.6. Dennis Rodman 4.5. Luke Longley was getting 3.2. Scotty was getting 2.8. Oh, no! I'd have grabbed every remote and pelted it at Jerry's house. I would have called Antonio Brown from the future to just fart on Jerry, bro, because this is disrespectful. And I said that early. Gerald, I said that early. You got to fire your agent. If I was Scotty, I'd have had my agent at gunpoint because there's no way you allow that to happen, bro. You got to do a way better job. Reconstruct the contract. You got to do a better job. Golly. Put him in the death note. I agree. That is highway rob. 2.8? Nah. I had no clue Scotty was underpaid like that. I knew he was underpaid, but that underpaid? My word. That's craziness, man. And David, you know what? You're right. MJ didn't have Scotty's back. And I agree. I agree 110%. MJ did not have Scotty's back. Because when MJ came back, after seeing what they did in 96, seeing what's happening in 97, and now going into 98 and understanding this is going to be the last dance, and you already know the issues that Jerry has with not only Scotty, but also Phil Jackson, MJ got to step in. Now, you may have your differences, you know, with Jerry. He may have his differences with Jerry, but MJ got to step in. That's where MJ ain't do a good job. You could rally the troops on the court, but when I need you in that office. I need the best player in the world on my side saying, yo, you know what? If you not going to pay Scotty, I ain't playing. How about that? I think if MJ did that, they'd have switched the contract. They'd have fixed the contract up, or a trade would have happened. Golly. Exactly, Sam. Exactly. It's hella easy for MJ to be mad. Scott, he got his money. MJ got his money. So he looking at Scotty like, yo, why you upset, man? Let's go out there and win. Well, you sitting on $33 million per year. I'm getting 2.8. That is, you know what? W.Y. Diggy, you're right. That is what T.O. said about Donovan. You're absolutely right about that. Donovan should have had T.O.'s back. You damn right. I knew MJ was getting money. I did not know Scotty was getting that underpaid. That's crazy. See, and they're saying it right now. Phil Jackson was told before 97 this was going to be your last year. So they knew coming in, because there's no way Phil ain't tell the team that. My word. Now, Gridiron, what's worse, Cam Newton or Scotty? I would have to say the situation with Scotty. Because with Cam Newton, you can use the smoke screen of injuries and underperformance since the MVP season. You can use it regardless of the fact that the brother was a face of your franchise carrying the organization on his back when you did not really help this man out. And that's talking about Cam Newton. But in the case of Scottie Pippen, MJ retired the first time. Scotty brought you out to the conference semis twice. Still kept the Bulls around as an actual contender when the East looked like it opened up. One of the 50 greatest players of all time. Man, they did Scotty terrible, bruh. It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm looking at MJ kind of sideways, man. I'm looking at MJ kind of sideways because he should have had Scotty's back. MJ's mindset there, he's thinking like a GM, thinking like an owner rather than a teammate. And even if you can't restructure the contract, because this is what, and although this sounds far-fetched, but one of the things I never understood that players who are getting paid trying to back their teammates never do is actually offer or give somebody money. Honestly, look at it like this. Let's just say MJ walked into the negotiating room and like, yo, okay, you're not going to pay Scotty? All right, no problem. You pull Scotty to the side like, yo, I got $10 million for you. I will give you $10 million myself if you come back and play. What do y'all think about that? If he offered out of his pocket, you think that would have mended the relationship? Maybe the 99 Bulls would have happened. He could have did maybe the same thing for Phil. Maybe not Phil, because Phil being a coach, I think that was a ship that had already sailed. But what do y'all think about that? Sam said he just you already had it? Oh, yeah, he said with the pay cut. I say not necessarily the pay cut, but just cut out of pocket. Like, you could leverage your contract, that's one thing. But if you do it out of pocket, because the one thing that you don't see in sports is a player paying the other player out of pocket. Usually you see, yo, I'll take a pay cut, and then the organization still screw you over. That's happened with the Patriots. That's happened with, damn, who took the pay cut a few years ago? A few years ago, somebody took a pay cut so somebody else could get signed. They did not get signed, and they got screwed. Damn, who was it? Was it basketball or football? I can't remember. Yes, D-Wade. There we go. D-Wade. Thank you so much, Hoodie Zay. D-Wade restructured his contract so other people could get paid. He did not get the money. Ultimately, Pat Riley paid Tyler Johnson the 3 years, $50 million when he could have paid D-Wade. Yes. So I'm saying, like, look for it like this. Bosch got $118 million, right? Wade didn't get paid. If I was Bosch, I'm like, yo, you the heart and soul of this team for the last decade. Yo, I'm gonna pull you to the side. Yo, I see Pat is tripping right now. So I'll tell you what. My highest offer was $88 million from Houston. They paid me $30 more than my highest offer. I will break you off 10 so you don't leave. Like, why players don't do that? I don't understand that. That makes no sense to me. You go into war with your teammates, you know how valuable and important they are to you. And as crazy as it sounds to just say, yo, I will give you $10 million out of my pocket, as wild as it would look from your financial advisor would probably advise against it. It would, I don't know how that's supposed to look on your taxes as a gift or something like that. I don't know how that's going to look for that large amount of money. The guarantee of saying, yo, I'm going to pay you if something were to happen. Also, you have your debts and all that other stuff out of your pocket. There's a lot of things that are happening. You have expenses. You have things you have to pay for. You have to take into account how much money you're bringing in versus how much you'd be putting out. But the offer alone, I believe, would be enough to build the morale and also get the other person to say, you know what, this person truly wants me to be here, so I will stay for you. I never understood why people don't do that. I never understood that. Like, you don't even got to look, because $10 million is a lot of dollars. It's a lot of money. Even if you're making $33 million, and you can't just say, oh, $10 million is nothing. No, that's still a lot of money. That's a lot of money. When you see somebody's making $33 million, and that's just what they're saying, they really bringing in like 15, 16, because they're going to get taxed out the wazoo. I think it's like 40%. They're going to get taxed out the wazoo. You got all these different expenses that's happening. You really seen a percentage of that number. But MJ, up until this point, already had money, so he don't got to worry about that. But you could offer to say that, yo, I will give you 500. I will give you an additional 2.8 on top of the 2.8 that you getting. I'll double your salary. How about that? Like, just the offer, I believe, would have went. That'd have been enough. Yes. D-Wade took the cut, so Braun could have stayed. Yes, indeed. Yeah. MJ had money. You're right, saying he had money. I don't. It never made sense to me. Because football, and I felt this way about the Le'Veon Bell situation. When Pittsburgh wasn't going to pay him, I honestly, in my heart of hearts, if Big Ben, Antonio Brown, walked in to Kevin Colbert's office and said, yo, we need Le'Veon here. I don't know what you going to offer. I'm willing to take a pay cut. Yo, you willing? Okay, I'm willing to go and take a pay cut. And even if you don't want to, cool, no problem. I will pay this man out of my pocket to have him here. I think they would have stayed. But a lot of people, they just look out for themselves, man. That's just what it is. Look out for themselves, man. And I understand it. It doesn't make you a selfish person in a sense. But I just feel as if you should be able to offer. You should offer. At least offer. Offer and get declined, or offer and then get declined the authorization to do so. But Don't just watch idly by like, yo, that's crazy, man. They really not paying him. So you really not gonna come and play, dog? Like that's craziness to me, man. Yes, DJ, I agree. If LeBron stayed in Miami, Pat Riley would have probably tried to trade Wade. I agree. A good GM would have made that move, but it would have been a douchebag move because it is D Wade and knowing what he meant to the team. If I was him, I'd pay LeBron. Well, then again, no, because you can't pay LeBron and then not pay Wade because you do have to pay Wade. You'd suffer. You really would suffer. You would have to bank on the fact that free agents would just come over because they're trying to win championships and go for a minimum salary. You would have to hope that everybody would be a Ray Allen in order to keep that team alive. Oh, we're going to come over here for a minimum. We just want to play with the best people. Brassman put 199 on it. Says MJ was always selfish towards his good teammates. I agree. Yes, W.Y. Diggy. Yeah, Pittsburgh was going to pay him, but just not the structure Le'Veon wanted guarantees. And you're correct because they offered him $75 million, I believe, and about $10 million guaranteed. 10 to 17. I remember seeing between 10 and 17 guaranteed, but Le'Veon wanted more, and I understand. I completely understand. That's why with the Jets, where you got $35 million guaranteed, he's winning. You're losing on the football field, but you're winning in your bank account because guaranteed and guarantees are two different things in the NFL. Like Todd Gurley's contract, it was $45 million guaranteed, $75 million. Well, it's $75 million contract, fully in guarantees, but $45 million guarantees. So that $45, they got to pay you. The rest, you just got to live up to certain sort of things. Oh, if you accomplish this, you get this All-Pro. You get this amount of Pro Bowls. You reach this yardage mark. You do this with reception, all this other stuff. So that sort of thing. Certain people, they have but then again, there's ways that can be worked around it. For example, Antonio Brown, he thought, oh, I have guaranteed money. Well, guess what, brother? You ain't really step on the field like that. You have a certain sort of time period that you have to go with. So there are loopholes that are there, but, yes, Gerald, yeah, the Rams are going to have to pay for Gurley's contract. There are people with, like, for example, Josh Smith ain't played a damn possession in basketball since, 2014? He's still getting paid. Allen Houston was still getting paid up until about 2015 or something like that. So people getting money out here. If your agent worked that magic, they know how to work that pen in the negotiating, on the contract, you gonna get your money. And yeah, I agree. I'm not upset at Le'Veon for his move. But yeah, Philly Jackson, yeah, Steve Kerr got 8 championships. Beneficiary of being on some very, very good teams. You got 3 with Chicago, then you had 2 with San Antonio, and then another 3 coaching in Golden State. So there it is. Yes. Hoodie's A, yeah. D. Will was getting paid by Brooklyn as well. I think he's still getting paid by somebody. I think D. Will's still getting money from Brooklyn. There's another brother who's getting paid too. God, they had a good number. I remember seeing it on Instagram the other day. Whatever the case is. But the draft is this week. I'm going to try to go live for that. For the draft. I'm going to see. I can't make no guarantees right now. But I'm definitely going to go live again next Sunday for part 3 and 4. But for the draft, I'm going to try. I'll tell you that much. I'm going to try. Also, during this week, I want to see if I can go live with the Hold My Nuggets podcast. I'm going to see if I can get Marv Glover. I don't know if we could, if we're going to do it, virtually, or if I'll have him come over here and then we just go live from here. I'm going to have it streaming on Hot Mic as well, because we're most likely going to go live. And if we're going to do it Instagram live, I'm going to have it, on Hot Mic as well. So we could not only have our own banter, but we're also bringing you guys in. So a lot of people said, well, since everybody else is going live, I should start going live on Instagram. I think I'm going to start that as well. So you guys can stay tuned for that. I'll go down the list. Thank you guys for watching the MJ documentary. I really enjoyed the conversation, and I can't wait to see what's gonna unfold in part 3 and 4. But I'd have to say, closing thoughts on episode 1 and 2. Scotty not getting paid, that blows my mind. Like, of all the things, I knew things about the Bulls, but this completely caught me. This blindsided me. This completely blindsided me. So that was my closing. You know, that was a lasting thought that I had from it, because it's showing how little Scottie got paid. It shows why they ultimately decided to go and break up, and to see how Jerry was adamant in trying to get it his way. Can't overlook it, man. Can't overlook it. But Philly Jackson, Danica Shuck, Mitch Connor, Brassman, Michael Brown, Gridiron Yuki, Jordan Rucker, Jalen Richardson, JT Golden, Jackson Fabrizzo, Isaiah Edwards, David, Cody Johnson, DJ M28, Rashawn, Sherrod Pettaway, Hoodie Zay, Sam, Israel, YW Diggy, Gerald, Jay the Armed Guard, Depressed Giants fan, Jason, all of you guys, thanks so much for tuning into the stream. I will see you during the week for the draft if I'm able to go and get it, but I'll keep you guys updated as we go. Keep an eye on my Instagram. You know, oh, and Alvin too. I see you just tuned in. Double O, I see you as well. But you know, keep an eye on my Instagram just so you stay up to speed with what's happening. I'll have it on my Insta story, also Twitter as well. So you guys have yourself a good night. Enjoy the rest of the night. This quarantine has been kicking damn near everybody's ass, but do your best to stay productive. I'll catch you guys at the next stream.